a demo coming up here soon. So Devin, if you don't mind just showing people where they can edit their abstracts,
Yep,
that would be
I'll cover the
great.
first 3 questions in my demonstrations.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Let me scroll through here. So file size suggested. Are you going to cover that one as well?
I am, yes. It's
Okay.
300 megabits, and then there's a way to work around that if your size is bigger than that, but I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, and then why do we limit animations in our PowerPoint? So this is just to simplify the presentation to try to prevent technical difficulties, just because we do have to stick to such strict time limits here with 15 minutes for your presentation. So if you have an animation and there's a technical difficulty, you won't be allocated any extra time. Great. Another Hoover Link question that Devin will cover. So let's see, for asynchronous presenters, how or when do we find out what session we have been assigned? The draft agenda does not list presenters yet. Yes, so our plan is to send moderators the information about the people in their session soon, and they'll reach out to you. Are we letting people know other than their moderators reaching out to them to let them know, Kristen and Devin?
That's a Kristen question.
Sorry, other than their moderators, once Hoover goes live, you'll be able to see your session that way. And I don't want to tell you when on the wrong day. So Devin, when are you planning to let Hoover go live?
We're estimating next week.
Okay.
Great. Thank you both. All right. We will not get our Hoover link until we pay for registration. I've registered through invoice. Later, as my agency has not approved funding yet. So it should just be tied to registration, right?
It is not. So it's the Hoover and registration are separate, so that they're not tied together. But if you have not gotten your Hoover link, I'll cover this again in a minute. Just email me and I will make sure that it goes to you. We are having trouble. There are some email addresses that they get blocked for some reason. So just email me and I'll make sure that you get it. And I'll track who has said in the chat that they haven't gotten it.
Yeah, just so you know, it seems to happen every year. This isn't like some weird thing that happens this year. It's just Hoover does weird things sometimes with email addresses in particular. So it's not unexpected. So just we will work with you.
All right. And then this is a question about the conference not being listed in the app. That's because it's not live yet, right?
Correct.
Okay. Presentations.
Yeah, I can touch
go
on
ahead.
that. They are tentatively assigned, but we are still shuffling things around. So once we have that settled, we'll send an email out to poster presenters. And I'm assuming that's for posters.
Yeah, Ben, is that specifically for posters or just presentations in general?
It was for presentations.
Okay, so yes.
I'm sorry, oral presentation.
Yep, everything has been assigned, but unfortunately, it seems like the best way to find that information is that once Hoover goes live.
Okay, cool. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Let's see. So someone asked for the file size in the chat. So if we could paste that in the chat, that would be great. All right. The email informing me of my abstract acceptance included a session title, which I've compared to the draft agenda is my session title subject to change. At this point, I don't think your session title will change. It should be final. if anything, I think it would be a minor tweak. All right, since USGS does not know if travel is approved yet, can we upload our presentations to Whova and or OneDrive after we know it has been approved? If we upload our are you okay? So that may be associated with the deadline. If we upload our presentation to OneDrive, will it still be publicly available on the Whova app indefinitely? What if we don't end up having our travel approved? So go ahead, Kristen, if you want to answer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the deadline is more for us so that we can upload the presentations onto the conference laptops. And if you don't know about your travel approval yet, it's okay if it's a little late. It's just, I don't want to get 500 presentations the day before the conference starts because I will physically not be able to load them all onto the conference laptops. So that's why we have it a little bit ahead of time. And for the second question, Whova is not publicly available. It's only available to people that are registered for the conference, first of all. And even that will only be available for 3 months after the conference. After that, even you can't get the presentations after those 3 months. So, and if you ask us to take it off, we can always take it off, take your presentation down.
All right. Devin's email will be on a slide coming up that you can.
Yeah, Dave put it in the chat already.
Okay, cool. All right. Sorry, there's a lot of questions coming in. Hello, as a remote presenter only, all we need to do is complete our profile and upload the presentation video using the add video link. Is this correct? Is registration payment required if we are not attending in person? Yeah, so if you are just attending virtually, you still need to pay for registration. And correct, you just need to upload your presentation onto the app. Okay. Skimming through here. All right, someone asked about the subject of the email from Whova.
I'll show that on my screen after the 508 demo. Should I skip to that first and then we can do the 508 demo?
I think it's fine. Everyone
Okay.
will be okay.
Okay.
All right. Does remote attendee have any access to workshop recordings or presentations? Yes. So any recordings that occur at the, so let me back up. So we are planning on recording all presentations this time, but all the workshops, I actually don't know if we're recording workshops. Does anybody know for sure if we're planning on recording workshops?
No, I don't think so. It's only panels.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we are likely not, I don't know if Jeff's out there. Jeff, are you out there? Can you answer that if you are?
Oh, I can give more clarification on what the chat's talking about right now. So for the Whova access to workshop, I'm trying to answer Dale's question. Does a remote attendee have access to workshop recordings or presentations? If you are part of the workshop or panel, you have access through a speaker link to be able to edit anything. But then I believe if you are just an attendee, it's just, you can see that it's happening, but in like the description, but we're not going to have, I don't think we're going to have a recording of it. Yeah, Dave said we're not recording the workshops.
Okay.
So yes, no access for attendees to the workshops.
but yes to the presentations.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan, if people are going the extra mile to pre-record their presentation as a supplement to their in-person presentation, may they have more time to post the recording? Yeah, so our goal is to have you all record by the 28th, but like Kristen said, that's not a hard deadline. It's just that that's just what we would like, especially for the asynchronous presentations, so that they're uploaded prior to the conference. But if you are just trying to get it done before the conference is really the main goal. So yes, the date was February 28th. Yes, the harder deadline is getting the slides uploaded so that Kristen can start preloading them onto wherever she needs to load them and make sure that she has everybody's. All right. So, Devin, you can. All right, we got one more question. Are we required to upload our presentation to Whova when we are not asynchronous presenters? So this is it's strongly encouraged. This is because we have virtual attendees, and their virtual attendance the week of the conference is watching pre-recorded presentations, and then if there are a few live streamed presentation or rooms, so there's like panel and a few other live stream features, but for the most part, the virtual attendance will consist of people watching pre-recorded presentations. So this is a reason, the week of the conference. And then post-conference, we are planning to record as long as everyone whoever gives permission to have their presentation recorded. We're planning on recording sessions and posting them later. But as for the week of the conference, it's strongly encouraged to pre-record so people have access to your presentation. All right, one more. So sorry I came in a little late. Will we receive an email for where to upload our presentations? Yes, there is. That'll be in the presenter. That's in the presenter guidelines that are on the website. No problem. Susan?
Hey, Lily and everybody. I just wanted to confirm on the recordings, whether it's the asynchronous recording or, as I like to put it, the people who go the extra mile and pre-record their presentation, even though they're going to deliver it live in person, or the third type of recording, which is at the conference when we record each session and post it for the virtual attendees and for any attendees to be able to go back and listen to a presentation they missed. Just want to make sure everybody's clear. These recordings will only be available to registered participants through the Whova app. They're not going to be publicly available. We're not in a position to be able to post them all on the website because we don't have the resources to maintain all that. So your presentation that's recorded will be essentially just like you were there in person to deliver it, and only the people who registered for the conference will be able to access it and listen to it and learn from it. So I know there's been a lot of confusion about that, and I just wanted to try to clarify that for folks. Hope I did.
Thanks, Susan. All right. You ready, Devin?
Yep. Okay. So to add another layer onto what Susan just said, this 508 demo is for those who have agreed to have their slides posted to the conference website. So that's separate than your recording. This is purposely not in presentation mode. So I'm going to go through how to make your PowerPoint presentation 508 compliant, and then show you how to properly save it as a PDF, just because everyone does have access to PowerPoint, but not everyone has access to Adobe Acrobat. And so to create a 508 compliant PDF, if you don't have access to the past the paywall, the first step is to then create a 508 PowerPoint that gets turned into a 508 PDF. Okay, so to go over this, PowerPoint makes it quite easy to check your accessibility options. And so that's going to be down here, the accessibility. And then it's for my status, it says investigate, because I have specifically put errors into this so that we can go through them. So it'll say accessibility and investigate. If this does not show up in the bottom left-hand corner for you, you can always just search for it in the search and it'll show up there. Okay, so we are going to cover going through alternative text, and alternative text is the description for pictures, the reading order, which is how a screen reader will read the order of the words on the screen, and a screen reader is a tool that people with vision impairment use to essentially read aloud what is on the screen to them. And then color contrast is just for same thing. It's gonna just make sure that you've got just everything is easily readable. And then we'll talk about links, we'll talk about tables, and then we'll go through saving as a PDF. So to start with alt text, the way you want to do that is if I just close this, I can right click and then view alt text here, and it pops up in the same spot. And what I'd like to mention is that, so for a lot of you guys, I know that your PowerPoint templates have your affiliation on every page. So for an example, I've given 3 here. You only need to have it on the first one. And then for the next 2, since it's not pertinent to the next slides, we can mark them as decorative. And this makes it so that the screen reader will skip over this and it's not constantly announcing your affiliation for every slide. And kind of bogging that down. So I would like to mention that you should be mindful that if your alt text is not flagged as missing, it's quite possible that they have generated alternative text that is not good, or it could just say picture of a blue square, and that is not descriptive of what it is. So I can give a good description about what the best alt text would be. So for this one, you could just say a boat on water. 1 second. It's not going to get flagged for anything, but what we can strewn from this information is from this picture is the name of the boat, what type of boat it is. So that's kind of stuff that you would want to include in your alt text description. Just kind of imagine you're describing this photo to someone. And so it'll include information that wouldn't otherwise be just like you would only get visually. Okay, so moving on to reading order. So I'd like to flag, so this is flagged, this slide is missing a slide title, which I purposely left off. So what we, every slide needs a title and then text, just so that things are, I'll show you how to get to this. So the reading order pane would go in orders of 1, 2, and 3. And so we always need a title just to make sure we are telling the person what this slide is. And so I'm going to add reading order here, and then I'm going to delete this out. Okay, so if you notice when I was clicking through 1, 2, and 3, we actually have what we would read first is third, and what we'd read second is last. And so to be able to reorder those, because we wouldn't want that information coming across in the wrong order if we can't see it, we're going to drag and drop them into the correct order. So title, content 2, content 3. Okay, moving to color contrast, I have a great example of yellow contrast that's very difficult to see, but it is not being flagged by Microsoft. So that just something I'd like to point out is that Microsoft is not very good at checking what your color contrast is. And like a fun thing about Microsoft is that their like pre-colors are not necessarily, they don't necessarily have good color contrast. So that's just something that you want to think about. I'd say avoid using yellow text at all costs, and I would recommend just black on white as always. So you also want to be mindful of your text on images. This jellyfish behind this text is very squiggly and it can make the text hard to read. So all we would want to do is just make sure to rearrange things so that there's not anything behind your text so that everything can be is read. Okay, so moving on to tables. All tables need to have a header. So this one is missing, so that's been flagged. And all columns need to have the same amount of, like, need to have their own row. So this is also being flagged because this is not, the screen reader or would not know how to read the order of this table. So I do recommend avoiding tables completely because the reading order can get very garbled and it's your information might not be coming across how you anticipate it to be. If you do want a table, I'd recommend just making it a picture and then putting your description and what you're trying to convey in your table into that alt text. So we would just we'd add a table here, or sorry, add a header, and then we'd fix this merge cell. Okay, so then lastly for this part, let's talk about the links. So links need to be descriptive. So you want to say here, like here's some examples. You want to say what you're linking to, or you say what you're linking to and then just provide the URL so that that is easily portrayed to what that's linking to. You definitely want to avoid using click here because that's not descriptive. We don't know where we're going for this link. And then links do need to be identified as links. So typically that is their blue and they're underlined. So that means that you should not have items underlined that are not links. Okay, so then once we have done all of that, we've added all of this metadata to our slides. We need to save it specifically as a PDF so that that metadata is not lost. So we're going to do file, we're going to do save as, we're skipping over the save as Adobe PDF that will lose our metadata. So we're going to do save as, we're going to go to more options, and then we pick PDF in this section. And that is the way we're going to save them. We do not just click save as Adobe PDF. We need to specifically go in, choose the file type. Okay, so I am ready to take questions. I'm sorry, I could not see them when I was sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, so are you saying we cannot just have a slide with just a photo? This is absolutely, yes. So for your reading order, a slide needs to have a title. There's no context while if you're giving your recording or your presentation, you've given context to this photo, but if you are just looking at the slides online, there's no context to that photo, and that's why it needs to have a title. Is alt text and reading order necessary for uploading an MP4? So no, this is only for PowerPoint slides that are being uploaded to the conference website. This does not relate to Whova. And can we have, there is, so the links that I link to are actually a color checker. So I'd recommend using a color checker if you're ever up in the air about whether it's going to be easily readable or not. Black background, white text does pass that, so you're good to use that. Okay, any more questions? Okay, I can dive right into a Whova explanation then. Okay, so back to sharing my screen. Okay, so I'm going to give an example or explanation for uploading to Whova. So everyone should have received these speaker links. They went out last Wednesday and yesterday. And so this is what the email looks like. And this is where your link is. They seem to get lost. They end up in spam. If you can't find yours, it didn't get delivered properly, please just email me and I will make sure it gets to you. I will resend it, and then if it still doesn't get to you, I can then forward it to you from after sending it to myself. So if we click on this link, it is going to take us to this Whova speaker guide. And this one is mine, for example, so yours is going to have your information in it, obviously. So the first step is to update your speaker information. And if you have participated in this conference before, or if you've used Whova before, your information may already be auto-populated, or there can be a little pop-up that says, use your previous information, that it'll just input it for you. So you just want to make sure this information is updated and correct. And then this session info is where you're going to update your title and your talk and your abstract. So what I would like to know is that no matter what type of presentation you're giving, in-person, asynchronous, poster, panel, workshop, it is like as titled as a session. So unfortunately from this link, you cannot tell what type of presentation you're getting, and that can be a little confusing. Specifically for if you have you're giving multiple talks, you'll have one, and then you'll have a second one. Or so for posters, what we've done is we've assigned them to the poster session, so they'll show up there. But we have also assigned them to a session so that you guys have greater visibility. But that also means that your poster is showing up under that session, and I understand that that can be a little confusing. You're not presenting during that session, you're just getting a shout out. So this is where you would update your abstract information, and then this upload, document, and add video buttons are where you're going to add so upload is if you have any extra information you'd like to add, good for moderators, and then good for the PDFs of your posters. The add video option is where you're going to add your pre-recorded video. So we recommend uploading a file from your computer, and then if your file is too big, you get 3 gigabytes or 300 megabytes. If your file is bigger than that, you can then use the add video link, upload it to YouTube where you don't have any size restrictions, post it as private, and then add your link here. We recommend completely avoiding this upload as a cloud URL that has caused a lot of issues in the past. So I will give you an example of how to upload your video. So what you want to do for your title is just kind of a abridged version of what your talk title is, and then your last name, first name. So we're going to do test video, and then I guess first name, last name, Devin Moore, and then we're going to choose a MP4. It has to be MP4. And then this will just quickly upload because it's quite a small video, and you'll be able to check once everything is live that your presentation has been uploaded. It'll also give a success at the bottom. And so there's 2 ways here to check to make sure that everything is uploaded. This can take a long time if you're at the maximum space, so it's good to just upload it and walk away. Don't be freaked out if it takes quite a bit of time. So if you saw that pop-up said successfully uploaded, so we know that that has been going to the next session. This is just discussion points that you are free to add, not mandatory, up to you. If you'd like to add any related things related to you, and then if you'd like to add your social media, how people can contact you, all of this is optional, it's up to you. This is if Whova is asking if you want to be a special part of Whova. I just said no thanks. You have to say you're not a robot, and then you can save this, and it says thank you, your information has successfully been submitted, and that's how you know that everything has gone up right. So once everything is live on Whova, as you know, we're not published yet. This is just a demonstration. We can then go to our session. So that example session was on Friday at the end of the day. So we go to our test session. And then here is the test video. So we know that that has been live. This is where people are going to chat with you based on your presentation. And this is where you're going to interact with the virtual attendees. So I am good to take questions now. So the way that I have everything set up is that most of your talks already have your authors written down and your abstract text in that description box. And that there you can update anything. You can change your authors. You can add your authors if they are missing. There are a few who don't have that information auto-populated. I will get to that eventually, or if you beat me to it, feel free. So if you need, the way Whova is set up is that if you were the presenter, it's your name. And then if you'd add your co-author as like more in the description box instead of being tagged. That shows. It's okay to upload a PDF file. Yes, I don't see an issue with that. I unfortunately do not control what social medias are on Whova, so I cannot add Blue Sky to that, but you could add that into your contact information if you would like to include it. So you would the presentation slides, your PDF / your PowerPoint slides are going to go to the OneDrive link that are part of the presentation guidelines. That is for Kristen to pre-upload onto the laptops that you'll give your presentation from. The video recordings are for the virtual attendees to be able to view your recording on Whova. So they are separate uploads. The sending your PowerPoint to OneDrive is mandatory, and then uploading your presentation recording is highly recommended. So by the 28th.
Hey, Devin, I'm going to chime in here.
Yeah.
I believe we're also encouraging people to upload their slides to Whova, and this would,
Okay.
you know, if they don't have time to record, this would still give people a way to access the presentation.
Yeah, that sounds great. The 28th is our deadline, specifically for getting the presentation to Kristen on the OneDrive. Everything else is just, if you could get it before the conference, that'd be great. I did show access through the web browser. I don't have a good way to show an example through the app, but once the page is live, you'll be able to use the app to see it. I don't think the link. I'll have to check what link you're talking about.
Yeah, and then just to revisit Rachel's summary of what's due on the 28th, in my presentation, we are encouraging people to upload by the 28th, but like Susan brought up, if you're presenting in person and you know, you're, like she said, going the extra mile to upload, it's okay if it's beyond the 28th. It's just a goal to have everything kind of uploaded by then, since that'll be like, I don't know how many, 10, 15 days prior to the conference.
So the OneDrive link is in the presenter guidelines, and the presenter guidelines were emailed, but if you can't find that email, they are also uploaded onto the conference website. And really just put the link in.
Yep, there they are in that link, but it'll probably get buried with other questions. But yes, everything is on the conference website. Okay. Are we straight with the links questions here? Seems like it. All right, I just had a few more slides to go over. Thank you everyone for bearing with us. I know it's lunchtime, so again, if you have to hop off, this is being recorded, and the presentation from the 12th was also recorded if there's anything you miss. All right, it looks like I have to arrow through here. 1 second. All right. So in summary, you got your Whova link, or if you didn't, let Devin know. The presentation must be MP4 video file, or it can be YouTube. Any other file types will not work. You can complete this by your presentation or presenter profile, and you can also update your bio and photo of yourself on there. You can add video this way. If you do a YouTube link, you can click add video. And you can also upload up to 2 supporting documents, handouts, online articles, or create a poll. And then don't forget to click save at the bottom. So there's just a little bit to cover with moderators. If moderators are on the line, thank you for joining. It's good for you to have an understanding of what's asked of the presenters. So your role is to become familiar with all the session abstracts, and you can see all of them on Whova. You're to communicate with presenters in person, asynchronous, and posters. So these are presenters that are associated with your session. And you should remind presenters to review the presenter guidelines, review and update their information on Whova, submit their presentation slides via OneDrive, and pre-record and submit their presentations via Whova. Right, so during the conference, moderators, you should ensure you are comfortable with lighting and technology in the room. And there are technology experts that there's a handful of them that will be hopping from room to room to make sure everything is running smoothly. You don't have to be a technology expert or anything like that. So you'll have support there. Just make sure that, you know, if anything is wrong, you can be sure to let the right people know. And this is a new feature this year. We're recording each session by Zoom as long as the presenters give permission. And that will be uploaded to Whova post-conference or as soon as possible. We're going to discuss this more on the 225 webinar. Again, if you didn't get an invite to that webinar and you're a moderator, please let us know. You'll introduce yourself. You'll highlight the asynchronous presentations and or posters associated with your session, which we'll have an example of that on the next slide. You'll briefly introduce the in-person presenters. You'll be responsible for timing and moderating the discussion to make sure everything sticks with the schedule. You'll ensure flow of presentations from one presenter to the next. And you should be prepared with a question for each presentation to spur discussion, just in case nobody asks questions during the session. So here's an example of what will be on the screen at the beginning of a session. So we'll have the 4 in-person presentations, and then we'll have associated asynchronous talks. So if you're an asynchronous presenter and you're tied to the session, you'll be in the room and they can give you a shout. You could, like I mentioned earlier, people could come and talk to you about your presentation. So here's some FAQs associated with moderators. One of my presenters did not show up. Should I rearrange my presentations? No, you should leave your presentations in the order that they're in, even if this causes a gap in the middle of the session. This is because people may be hopping from room to room, and with this strict schedule format that we have, people will be able to do that. So if you change the order, someone may miss a presentation that they wanted to see. What if I have technology issues in the room? I touched on this just a minute ago. Volunteers will be checking in to each session as they start to make sure that everything is going well, and they can provide any technology replacements if needed. And one of my presenters cannot have their presentation recorded. What should I do? Like Susan said, this isn't going to be publicly available. It'll only be on Whova, but if if for some reason your agency or company can't allow you to have your presentation recorded, you should let us know, and the recording can be stopped before your presentation. And Kristen is arranging for those that can't be recorded to be at the end of the session so that it's easy enough to just stop the recording prior to your presentation. Great. And then, so yeah, if you have any general questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to find an answer for you. And then you can ask Devin about Whova or 508. And Kristen, you can reach out to Kristen for any sort of agenda issues. So that's it. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, that's all the material we have.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right. Thanks. Yeah, we can get the slides posted. Someone else asked for that. So we can get those posted. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.